Hey guys, it's the mama here. Before we get started, I just wanted to put this quick disclaimer out there. We make light of a lot of horrible things, and trust me, they are horrible. We are not, however, making fun of the topics we discuss. Us laughing or cracking jokes is simply our way of coping with the atrocities we talk about. We have nothing but love and support for the victims and their families, and will never stoop that low. We've experienced tragedy ourselves. This is why we do what we do. That being said, stay spoopy, our friends. Horror Cultural, where we grow love for all things spooky and macabre. Hey, horror heads.
Pumpkinhead!
Great fucking movie.
I don't know if I've used that one before.
I don't know if you have either, but it's a great fucking movie.
That's gonna bug me now.
Hey, horror heads, welcome back.
Hey, guys.
I am taking the lead.
It's an entirely Rhonda-filled episode.
I'm hogging the whole damn thing.
Go right ahead. She blanked out, everybody.
I didn't. I'm trying to formulate the
Crocs! There we go. I know I never said Crocs yet.
Okay, so this story is out of Austria.
Oh.
I had not heard of this. I saw it on TikTok, like I was explaining to you earlier. I took a screenshot of this person's name because I only heard the first few sentences I heard, I was like, nope.
Basically what equated to whispers through the grapevine.
Yeah, I needed to see for myself. I didn't want to hear. TikTok is not exactly. I love TikTok. I love the tickety-talkities, don't get me wrong.
Same.
But
some fun shit on there.
It's not always the most reliable source of information. So, I did a little deep dive for myself, and this episode is called Yucky Josef.
Oh.
There are so many names that I wanted to give this, like Daddy Issues.
Oh, God.
Fucking Fritzl. And those are just a few, but out of respect for the victims, I went for Yucky Josef. I cannot even believe this shit happens. I'm getting there. Hang in there.
I'm already concerned just from the names you wanted to give it.
Yeah. This shit happens. And it happens more than people know, more than people want to... This motherfucker. More than people will admit, more than people will come forward and speak about.
So she had warned me earlier. This is going... Like, we know you probably
Oh, fuck, yes. Trigger warning for this entire thing.
Yeah, so we know you just listened to the disclaimer that we have at the beginning of every episode, but we feel the need to put another disclaimer / trigger warning for those of you that are very sensitive towards, what was it, sexual assault?
Sexual assault, rape, essentially kidnapping, torture, child death, incest, all the things.
So basically,
all the horrible things that you can think of are in this.
So think Taken, starring Liam Neeson, but, real.
And with incest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is probably the worst. Okay, so here we go.
So here we go. Trigger warning.
I'm only going to say it right now, in the beginning, trigger warning. If you cannot handle sexual assault, rape...
Trafficking stuff.
Not that.
Oh, no trafficking.
No trafficking.
Whew.
Child death.
Negative... Let's just leave it at...
Let's just say sexual assault, incest, torture, rape, and... kidnapping. If you can't handle any of those things,
you might want to skip this week's episode.
This is not the episode for you, and we appreciate that, and we love you. But this is not the episode for you.
We have a very broad...
This wasn't even the episode for me. And I'm the one that does this fucked up shit.
So if you can't listen to this one, don't worry. We have a bunch of other episodes you can listen to.
Yep, you can go right back to the beginning and listen to them all. But anyway...
Moving on to the meat of the matter.
Yucky Josef. Like I said, I can't even believe this happens, but this man isn't the only man to do this. There have been other cases where similar types of things like this happen in the past. They're still happening now. They will happen in the future, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So hold on to your ass cracks, people. This is the story of Josef Fritzl and his victims.
Ooh.
Josef Fritzl was born on April 9th, 1935 in Amstetten, Lower Austria.
Good job.
Thank you. I was practicing. He is now 87 years old. And they do say that evil doesn't die, so this fuck might live a lot longer.
I mean, that's what people thought about Charles Manson.
Again, like I said, sorry people, this is a trigger warning for the entire episode. Yucky here is a pedichomo. And not like any of them are good, but the type he is probably the worst. When he was 21, in 1956, he married a 17-year-old girl named Rosemary. Now, I get that things were a lot different back then, and marrying young was more acceptable. Not to mention, this is a completely different country.
Yeah.
But not my damn daughter, I think the fuck not.
Not with a 9-year age discrepancy.
Together, they had a total of 7 children.
God damn!
3 sons and 4 daughters. Different country, different time.
Yeah.
Birth control, not really a thing.
Yeah.
He also had a child with a woman in Ghana that he met on a work trip during the Ebola epidemic. I don't know anything more about that child, and if I were he or she, I'd hide the fact that my damn self, because nope.
Yeah. You know.
I would not want to be associated with this prick.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're only going to focus on one of his children. I'm sure you can already figure out where this is going.
Yeah.
His daughter, Elizabeth. She was born April 6th, 1966, which makes her 4 years older than me.
Yeah.
The sick fucker started doing bad things to his daughter at the age of 11. Now, I watched a documentary, like I said, after I saw it on the tickety-tocketies, called Josef Fritzl, Story of a Monster. I think it was on Amazon Prime. It was a while ago. It was like a couple of months ago. And I thought back then, for sure, that I would be doing this.
Yeah.
I had to, it took me a little bit of time to get over it, though.
Yeah.
But I went back to rewatch it again for my research, and apparently you can't watch it here in the States now. So, fuck my life on that one. There are other documentaries on this pig as well as some movies loosely based on what he did to Elizabeth. I think one was called The Basement Door, The Chalk Line.
Okay.
But if you just put Josef Fritzl in the U-boobs, a ton of shit comes up.
Oh, well, that was easy to find. You know what the fucked up part is?
All of it? But
well,
yeah.
no, just doing a quick search. By the way, you type in Josef, like Josef, he's one of the first results. But what I find really astounding is that doesn't give like an actual title. It just says Josef Fritzl, Elizabeth Fritzl's father. That is it. Not like fucking war criminal or something like that. Like you see something like Bill Gates, tech entrepreneur. No, just Elizabeth Fritzl's father.
And you wouldn't think anything of it. You would think, oh, he must be famous or something.
For the wrong thing.
She must be famous, and
Also
that's her dad.
Also for the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
He looks like a creepier Vincent Price.
Way creepier.
Ugh. Anyway, continue. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, so like I said, I went back to rewatch it. Can't watch it in the States here now. I almost was gonna reach out to Jeff. Yo, can you find this for me? But I do remember quite a bit from it because that's how fucking shocked I was.
Yeah.
So, this man is an absolutely steaming pile of turds. That's what he is. But there's a metric shit ton of
shit
U-boobs for him.
Oh, I can imagine. It's been going... If he's been doing this shit since, like, the 50s or whatever...
I'm gonna give you the exact timeline.
Oh,
so, I'm gonna give a shorter version of this, because I could literally talk about this fucking dude and what he did for, like, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm sure nobody wants to hear of all the depravities and me ramble for that long, including myself. So,
yeah.
In the documentary, Rosemarie, that's his wife,
Uh-huh.
her sister, I can't remember her name. Thanks again, Prime, for not letting me watch it again, assholes.
The wife's sister?
The wife's sister.
All right, give me a second. Keep going,
So
and I'll find
she
it.
stated that Daddy Disgusting, as I shall now be calling him, was very hard on the kids. He was very strict and he was very stern. When he got home from work, there was to be no more playing and they had to be quiet. Now, 7 kids. Imagine a house of 7 kids. How the hell can you keep one kid quiet, let alone 7?
I couldn't find it.
But the kids, they knew Dad's home, time to shut the hell up and sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
So he ruled with an iron fist in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Before I forget, I need to mention here, because you may wonder this later on, like I did, which is why I went back and put this in here.
Yeah.
He was very well respected in the town that they lived in.
Of
because
course.
they had money.
Of course.
Because he was an electrical engineer, and let's just say his persona out in the public
Was wildly different.
was way different than his inside voice. Out of the home, the family appeared
Like
air
a-
testicles.
like a perfect atomic
To
family.
be loving and caring, and of course the kids were very well behaved because, you know, they were fucking terrified of him.
Yeah.
They were dressed nicely, and Rosemarie especially liked to dress, you know, to the nines.
Yeah.
People would always see him building things, and that wasn't rare to see him doing that because he was an engineer.
Yeah.
He kept himself busy, and fucking hell did he.
Well, not the kind of busy we would hope for, apparently.
The depravity is just beginning. So, Rosemarie's sister also said that he was very protective over Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
More so
Than
than
the
the
rest.
other kids. She wasn't allowed to go out with friends, and a childhood friend of hers from school even said that. Like, the childhood friend, and I remember this from the documentary, I can't remember her name, but the childhood friend said one time she had gone over to the house just to see if Elizabeth could come outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they lived in a very nice house,
Yeah.
and you could look the house up.
Yeah.
Huge! Fucking huge! Wanted just to come outside, talk, play, whatever.
Like
and
out in the front yard, basically.
and Daddy Disgusting basically said she's not allowed and shut the door on this little kid's face.
No, fuck you, leave.
Basically. So he kept her pretty isolated. So, you know, as with any teenager, I think when she turned 14 or 15 or 16, in the teenage years,
She was getting that rebellious, like, I want to go do things.
she ran away to try to escape her horrible living situation.
As one would.
Several times, but either was found by him or he would call the police, and she was returned to her parents or her dad brought her home. Daddy Disgusting lost his ever-loving shit. So, you know, her life was pretty miserable. I mean, he could have been doing this to her before 11, and she just don't remember. She just remembers him starting when she was at 11 years old.
This is giving me some, that one movie we watched, based on a novel by Jack Ketchum, I think what's his name? Where, like, the aunt keeps her niece, like, tied up in the basement, and at one point had, like, all the neighborhood boys take turns on her.
What the fuck was that?
You don't remember that movie?
What was it?
Give me a second, I'll find it, continue.
Was she pimping her out?
No, it was, like, torturing her.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so like I said, Rosemarie's sister did say she found it was extremely odd that he was that much more protective over Elizabeth than any of the other kids. So, let's fast forward to now when she turns 18. Remember, this is back in the 80s.
Girl Next Door. You and I both watched that. That's the only...
We might have to watch
with
it
the
again.
fire poker. Yeah, now you remember. No, it was a blowtorch. That's what it was. Sorry, I didn't mean to,
Yeah, you made me
derail
lose
you.
my train of thought. Okay.
She just turned 18.
Yeah, and this is back in the 80s when she turned 18. So, this is when the horrific nightmare begins. This is Austria, 80s, Cold War, Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not in Russia, but Russia was feared exponentially by everyone back then.
Yeah.
Even us.
That's why we were like, we got nukes. Yeah, well, yes, comrade, but we do have nukes. Yeah, well, we have bigger nukes. I don't know about that. Anyway, that would have gone on too long.
I mean, the nightmare began when she was 11, but here's where it gets way
where it becomes her reality.
Way fucking worse. Also, remember, I said that he was always building something, so to see him in and out of the shed or the yard, it was common.
Yeah.
Turns out, old Daddy Disgusting had been building something in the basement that no one knew about. Well, I think they knew that he was building a air testicles bomb shelter because they were worried about nukes.
It was not a bomb shelter,
But
though.
they were forbidden to go down there. And again, he was a tyrant and the whole family was afraid of him.
Yeah.
So, one day, Daddy Disgusting tells Elizabeth that he needs her to help him hang the last door on the air testicle bomb shelter. Knowing she is basically not allowed to say anything to this pig. And now let's keep this in mind. She's 18.
Yeah.
And she's still afraid to leave the house.
Yeah.
Okay? So she knows she's not allowed to tell this motherfucker no.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes down to the basement to help him. What happens next chaps my ass, boils my blood, and royally makes me sick. Elizabeth held the door in place while Daddy Disgusting put the door into the frame. And then he held an ether-soaked towel on her face until she was unconscious and threw her into what everyone thought was a bomb shelter to protect them. And in reality, it was a prison for his daughter, and that's what it was always meant to be.
Yep. Damn, he straight up chloroformed her. And, by the way, guys, in real life, that is not like a... That is not a near instant thing. You have to make them...
struggle.
Yeah, you have to make them breathe that for like a good 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It takes a roughly 5 minutes for that shit to kick in.
I needed a sip of beverage for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Damn,
so...
I might need a shot of rum after this.
I'm only on page 4 of 12. We're going to have to take a break here soon.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, this is in the basement,
Mm-hmm.
under the fucking house.
Yes.
Where everybody else lives.
Yes.
Okay? But this dungeon was hidden so well that the cops didn't even find it until he showed them where it was. This thing was literally buried deep under the house. To get to this dungeon, and that's what it wasn't a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No.
You had to pass through. Here we go. Hold on to your ass cracks and grab some Scooby snacks. 5 different rooms in the cellar, including a room containing the furnace, so like, the
A
furnace
boiler room.
A small office room, and Daddy Disgusting's workshop. Hidden behind a shelf in Daddy Disgusting's workshop was a 3.5 foot, well, it was less than 3.5 feet. It was 3.28 feet, to be exact, high.
Oh.
Reinforced concrete door behind a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Under the house. So if you're looking at the house, it's directly fucking under it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to think anything.
No. No, you're not.
3.5.
Yeah, it's not that big a door.
You have to duck to get in there.
Or squat, depending on who you are. Or crawl.
I am 5'4". So that's
Like,
waist high to me.
yeah. It's ridiculous.
Okay. So, once you get through that door, the dungeon was down. It doesn't stop there.
Of course not.
The dungeon was down a narrow passageway leading into rooms that included a cooking area and a small bathroom.
Oh, at least
So
you left
he had
amenities.
everything covered. He knew what he was going to do.
Oh, at least he was nice enough to leave amenities.
So he had a little kitchenette, a bathroom, like a little living room, and a bedroom.
Yeah.
Under the house. One more thing to mention. Oh, and it was approximately 650 square feet, all of the rooms. Not that big.
Mm-hmm.
So one more thing to mention here. The family also rented out rooms in this house. I don't know why, because the motherfucker was rich by what I read.
Well, the rich just want to get richer.
You can go online and look up Josef Fritzl's house, and it'll give you...
room prices.
No, diagrams.
Oh.
It'll give you a diagram of the house. So, like, you had the bottom floor.
Uh-huh.
And they rented rooms out on the bottom floor. And then you had the top floor, which I believe is where the family lived. But I think also maybe, like, the kitchen and the living room might have been downstairs. But they also rented bedrooms downstairs. Then you had...
the basement.
The dungeon.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a basement. Oh, no, there was a basement.
Yeah, you were just talking about
that.
that.
The basement, and then under the basement was the dungeon. Okay, so, also in that documentary, they did interview one guy who rented from them, and he said he never knew anything about it, obviously, and he never heard a peep. But he did say that his dog would act up anytime Daddy Disgusting would go into that basement.
The dog knew.
The dog could maybe hear.
Well, yeah, because
their sense of hearing is. Yeah. I guess maybe once that concrete door. I think they did say how thick that door was, but I forgot to put it in here.
No, I think you said it. It was like several inches thick.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you said it was like 3 inches thick or some shit.
No, I just put high reinforced concrete door.
Oh.
But it was like the dog would hear
the door opening.
Something. When the door would open.
Yeah. And
he would whine, and the guy would, because he wasn't supposed to have pets.
Yeah.
And the guy would be like, telling the dog, I think the dog's name was Charlie, and he would say, Charlie, shh, shh, because he didn't want to get kicked out. So, from the pictures I seen, and you could Google it, the entry to the basement was outside.
Oh, so it was like a...
It's kind of like here.
Yeah.
The renters weren't allowed to use the yard or garden.
Gotten.
They were told if they went into the basement or the garden, they would be immediately kicked out.
Yeah.
Rosemarie does report her daughter missing, I believe a day or so later. So Daddy Disgusting has a plan, you see, because, he's been planning this shit for years.
Clearly.
He goes into the basement and has his daughter write a letter. Yes, you heard me correctly. He has her write a letter saying that she ran off. I cannot make this shit up. She ran off to join a cult. Now, her friends and some family, including her aunt and the friend that, her school friend, said there's no fucking way in hell she would have done that.
Yeah.
It was bullshit. There's no way. Living with her dad was like living in a cult. There's no way she would run and actually go live in a cult.
Yeah.
But it was in her handwriting, so, what can you do?
Yeah.
He can't have any suspicion on him or in his house, so sure, a cult.
Because that was normal.
And he takes it to the police, and my daughter said she's in a cult. And if we come looking for her, she's going to leave the country and we'll never see her again. So here you go. Here's her handwriting.
What can you do?
Kids these days,
Kids these days out joining cults.
What can you do? These darn kids.
And with that, I think we should take our break because we are about 24 minutes in.
Yeah, I gotta pee and I need a beer.
And we will be right back.
Alright guys, welcome back to the fucking shit show.
Woo!
That is Daddy Disgusting, a.k.a. Josef Fritzl.
More like Josef Fritzl. Ha!
Exactly. Okay, so we know he was SAing his daughter since the age of 11. She's now 18. He never stopped. She's trapped in this basement she knows she can't get out of, and the SA continues.
Yeah.
He threatened her that the door was booby-trapped. All of the doors were booby-trapped.
You open this door, it's going to pull the pin out of this grenade.
It's going to gas you.
Yeah.
It's going to electrocute you. And she was terrified. She's already terrified of him.
And even if he was lying, she would still believe it.
Yeah,
because it's her dad.
And he's been tormenting her
Pretty
much her whole life. So, I mean, there's going to be people that go, well, why didn't she try the door? Because she was scared of
She
her father.
thought it was going to kill her. That's why.
I'm an idiot. I probably would have tried the door, but that's because I'm stupid. So, anyway, back to the story. He's still doing the disgusting shit to her multiple times a day. Mm-hmm. Okay? At first, he strapped up her arms and then tied them behind her back with an iron chain, which he then secured to the metal posts behind her bed. So he had like those rings in the wall. She could only move approximately half a foot either side of the bed.
Yeah.
After 2 days, he gave her more mobility by attaching the chain around her waist. Then about 6 to 9 months later, he removed the metal chains because
he knew she wouldn't escape.
It was hindering his sexual activity with his daughter.
Ugh.
According to the indictment.
Ugh.
She spent the first 5 fucking years alone, with him barely speaking to her, raping her multiple times a day, but not speaking to her.
That's a hell of its own right there.
So what do you think happens next?
Do I really need to know?
She gets pregnant. By her nasty fucking ass, vile father. And he continues to sexually assault her while she's pregnant. He doesn't take her to the hospital to give birth, though. Oh, no. He brings her a book on childbirth.
We're doing this in-house.
Disinfectant. And a bucket. Stellar human being, right? And she gets to do this by herself. He's not present when she gives birth.
I don't want to see that weird-ass shit again.
This girl's being raped by her father and has been since the age of 11. He gets her pregnant. He won't take her to the hospital. She gives birth alone. He hasn't said a word to her in 5 years. Comes down, assaults her.
And walks away. Multiple times.
Multiple times a day. And leaves. Gets her pregnant. Here's a book. Here's some disinfectant and a rusty pair of scissors.
Good luck.
Have at it, girlfriend. And then she has to care for the baby. She has to figure it out.
Yeah.
I wish I could say that's the worst of it, but it's not.
Of course not.
Elizabeth goes on to have 7 of her disgusting fucking father's children. 7.
Gross.
At one point, she says to her dad that she needs more space, because there's 7 fucking kids. And he won't stop raping and impregnating her. They need more room for the kids, which he did allow. But to cover up his expansion, he put a pool in the yard. Literally over the expansion of the dungeon, because he somehow had to cover up all the dirt he was digging. Like, he's not stupid. He had all his bases covered in case prying eyes were watching. So what he did was he dug out the expansion, okay? But he didn't connect it to what was already there yet.
Yeah.
So he dug it out to make more bedrooms for his children/grandchildren. And then put a roof, put dirt, built a pool. So you got a pool on top of the dungeon.
Yes.
Keep in mind, in this dungeon, there's no air conditioning.
Nope.
So it's sauna temperatures in the summertime.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, and water leaked everywhere. There were rats. It wasn't clean living conditions that we had her in. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Father of the fucking year all the way around.
Father of the fucking century, yes.
So, back to the kids.
Yeah.
The Petachomo would force her to recreate things he had seen in pornos in front of the children. Like, dude is sick as fuck. One of his 7 passed away 66 hours birth in Elizabeth's arms. His name was Michael. He was a twin. I'm not saying the twin's name. That's not important. He died of breathing complications because this dick nugget wouldn't take the baby to the hospital where he could be treated and saved.
Yeah, because then his little plan would have been exposed.
So, what did he do next, you might be pondering?
Baby chili?
Take a guess.
Takes the dead baby and makes it into food.
He took the body of his son/grandson and incinerated him. Just burned his tiny body like, cool. Look at me getting rid of a kid and evidence all at the same fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
There was no remorse, no care of her feelings. She just gave birth by herself to twins.
And just lost one of them.
And held one in her arms while it died.
Yeah.
You take it and burn it. Cool. One less to worry about.
Yep.
Like, there was nothing there. There was nothing. Oh, I forgot to mention, not that it really fucking matters, because he's still a piece of shit in the worst way possible, but he did bring them food and water almost daily. And she did, after start having the kids, teach them how to read and write. And he did bring them a TV that had, like, basic channels with videotapes and stuff like that. And he did bring the kids books and crayons and paper and color. It wasn't an act of kindness. Don't think of it that way.
I was gonna say, this guy's got his priorities in weird places.
It's a means to keep them quiet.
Yeah.
Just like the other kids upstairs. Daddy comes home, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an act of kindness. You know, he would bring them stuffed animals or toys or whatever, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was to keep them quiet.
Yeah.
So, but there were no windows in this, because remember, they're underground.
Yeah.
So they never saw outside. Can you imagine?
No.
Never seeing outside? The fuck, dude?
Those kids. You know what? I'll wait until the end of this for that statement.
I'm having a hot flash. I'm so fucking mad. But Rhonda, this can't get worse, right?
Oh no, it'll get worse, or else we wouldn't be talking about it.
Oh, it sure can. And it does.
Great. I have an idea of where it's gonna go, and I don't like it.
As she's having his children, if they got too loud or couldn't control them, I fucking can't even. He would once again have Elizabeth write a note to her parents stating that she wants them to take care of the baby because she can't do it in the cult. Yes, I said all of that. He would then take the baby, like if the baby cried too much, or I saw more lightning.
Same.
Or if the baby was too noisy, or I don't even want to say baby. It could have been a toddler.
Yeah.
If the toddler was too noisy or was too rambunctious, if she couldn't keep the kid quiet, he would take the child, make her write a note,
take it upstairs and be like,
put it in a basket or put it on the porch.
Oh, we just got this from Elizabeth.
And say, put it on the porch and pretend to find the note and the baby/child. So now if Rosemarie thought, if she was really oblivious to all of this, here she is thinking, oh my God, I have a grandbaby, I have to take care of it. It's part of my daughter.
Yeah.
Little did she know it was her grandbaby, but it was also her husband's child with her daughter. Is there even a term for that fuckery? I don't think there is.
I'm afraid. I don't want to Google that because I feel I feel like that would put me on a list.
He literally did this with 3 of the children. 3. This leaves 3 down with her. Okay? Because remember, one passed away. So, he and Rosemary are raising 3. She's got 3. And 1 he
burned.
Disposed of. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's a shitload more to this, but let's jump ahead to 2008. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth's daughter, Kirsten, who was 19, became critically ill.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth begged her father to take her to the hospital. Kirsten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine? She's lost 1 child in her arms that her father just burned like it was nothing. Then took 3 of her other kids who are literally living above her in an actual house.
Yeah.
And then she's got the 3 in the dungeon and 1 is dying.
We already know where this could go, folks. Might not involve an incinerator this time.
Yeah, because I think 19 is a little bit too big to be in an incinerator. I mean, even though they were malnourished and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So after a lot of begging and pleading, her dad agreed to take Kirsten to the hospital.
To be euthanized.
Keep in mind, what happens when you go to a hospital, though?
DNA blood tests.
No, when you first walk in, what happens?
You're putting me on the spot now. My brain's blank.
When you go to the ER, what's the first thing that happens if you walk in on your own? What's your name, your birthday, all that stuff, right?
They figure out who you are.
She's there for treatment, but there's 0 record
of her existing.
Of who she is. She doesn't exist. There's no birth certificate, no license, no social security. I mean, I don't know if they do that over there. I would think they have some sort of.
So, yeah.
There's literally nothing. Daddy Disgusting says, oh, she's my daughter's kid that she dropped off to us saying she was sick and take her to the hospital because I can't do it because I'm in a cult.
He's really working that cult angle.
And Kirsten is so afraid of her father/granddad that she won't talk, and I don't even think she could because she was like literally dying.
Yeah.
Elizabeth and her 2 remaining kids see on the local news, on the TV, there's a segment of the hospital asking for the mother of Kirsten to come in and come forward to help save her daughter because, she's in terrible shape. So then she's begging her dad to let her out. First she begged her dad to take Kirsten to the hospital. Now she's got to beg her dad again. Mm-hmm. You have to let me go save her. Yeah. I'll come back with you. But please let me go answer their questions so they can save her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to lose another child.
No.
Doesn't this sound like just a whole shitload of some kind of fuckery that would be in a fucking horror novel or fiction? This is all true.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, this would make...
It doesn't even sound like it could be real.
Yeah. It sounds like it's just a horror movie.
So her father, sensing he's losing control of his situation, plus he's getting older, he's got a heart problem. Yeah. Takes Elizabeth to the hospital to answer questions about her daughter who's literally dying. But how's this going to work, right? Like, I mean, she's been missing now for 24 fucking years.
Yeah.
She can't just pop up and go, hey, I'm back.
I'm back from the cult.
It was a nice trip. I got gifts for everyone.
Yeah.
Here's my daughter dying in the hospital.
What do you need to know?
Right. Like, shit don't work that way. Not in this country or any other country, I would imagine.
I would hope not.
So Daddy Disgusting still thought he was in control and tried to tell the cops with Elizabeth, oh, she just showed up after escaping her cult. Now she escaped. Right? And now here we are. But they didn't believe him this time. Because, like, when he first took Kirsten to the hospital, Elizabeth wasn't with him. Mm-hmm. So he tried to pull some sort of fuckery when they brought Kirsten in, but her mom dropped her off.
Yeah.
I'm sick. She's sick, remember? So they didn't buy it.
They're like, but didn't you just say...
She was in a cult.
Yeah. That she had to drop her off.
So now you all of a sudden have her? So, anyway, I digress. Back at the hospital, Daddy Disgusting brings Elizabeth to the hospital where they immediately take her to another room. Mm-hmm. And away from him and begin questioning her about Kirsten's health.
Yeah. Oh, I hope she spills all the beans.
So, her teeth are rotting out of her head. She's paler than Casper on crack. Because they've never seen the sun.
Yeah.
And her health is deteriorating by the minute.
They probably would be reminiscent of the monsters from The Descent.
Or the people under the stairs.
Yeah.
They tell Elizabeth that she's going to be held accountable for the condition of her daughter for neglect, if you will. Because this clearly didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
Welp, I don't think any of them were fucking prepared for what the fuck Elizabeth had to say.
My father has been keeping me in a concrete dungeon for the past 20 years.
Underneath the house I grew up in.
And underneath said house, he forced himself upon me since I have been 11, and this is his child.
She, like I said, I don't think they were fucking prepared for anything she had to say.
I would assume not.
And knowing she was finally safe, and she said to them, if I never have to see that man again, I will tell you everything.
Yeah.
And they told her, you will never have to see him again. And she did.
Well, good for her.
So, it's always been a question whether or not Rosemary knew anything.
Yeah.
She was interrogated, but she was never charged. If she did know, she kept her mouth shut out of fear and, compliance.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. If anything happened to you or your brother, in fact, shit did happen to your brother, and I fucking... I was there. I'm not letting anyone, regardless of who they are, get away with that shit. So the police did rescue the two boys from the dungeon after Daddy Disgusting was arrested at the hospital. And the one little boy stood in the rain. It was raining that day. This fucking breaks my heart. And just stood there, and they were like, "Come on, get in the car." And
he's like, "Wait, I need this."
He says, "I've never seen rain before. I just want to see." He's seen it on TV, but he's never felt it.
Yeah.
He's never seen it. He just wanted to experience it.
Yeah.
That's heart crushing.
Yeah, that's depressing.
They'd never seen the sun, the rain, the snow, anything. That rips my soul out.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Anyway, he was jailed for life in 2009 after he was convicted of rape, incest, enslavement, and negligent homicide of baby Michael.
That was the one he disposed of.
Yes.
Okay.
His wife was so browbeaten that he'd call from jail and claim he was innocent. Like, the fuck?
Bullshit.
There's a whole ass dungeon under your house!
I'm innocent. Completely ignore everything that's under the house, though.
He had a whole ass other family under your literal feet with his daughter.
Yeah.
And 3 of her 7 children you're raising. Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense.
I don't think it can, and I don't want to.
In court, he actually had the audacity.
The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this bitch.
To say that he was sorry for what he did and he felt remorse.
That means shit.
24 fucking years you held her hostage. You raped her over 3,000 times. She kept a diary. She wrote down everything he did to her. Everything. And would hide it.
So, Herr Fritzl, we have you charged on multiple accounts of incest, rape, enslavement, child endangerment. Yes, I understand, but I want you to know.
Now think of it from his wife's perspective. Adultery.
Yup. And
Kidnapping.
Yup.
He kidnapped his daughter.
Yes, I understand that that's what everyone likes to... I understand that that's what I'm here for, but I just want you to know. I am really sorry I did that.
I'm so fucking sorry.
It's like that one episode of South Park. I forget what it was, but it was like the CEO of like Apple or something like that, and he would put out these videos.
My bad.
It would be like, "We're sorry," and it would be like so like demeaning. He's like, "Sorry, we're sorry," and it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Like, he could fuck directly off. Like, look, fuck directly off, sir. Or wait, better yet, perhaps scoot down a metal slide made of razor blades soaked in bleach. He's sorry.
Into a pool of lemon juice.
He didn't just sexually assault his daughter. He beat her kids, and had her kids watch as he raped her and beat her and and each other. Sorry, don't fucking cut it.
No.
Sorry didn't do it, my guy. You did. So, I'm sure the big question on everyone's mind, or maybe just mine, was this. Why? Why did he do it?
He was incredibly
Why
mentally
did
ill.
he do it to Elizabeth and none of his other kids? His answer. You fucking ready for this?
She was the hottest one.
He claims that he was mentally abused by his mother, raised in Nazi Germany. He was raised in Germany. Like, we've not heard that old chestnut before. And not just that, but he wanted to air testicles, protect Elizabeth from herself and from doing bad things. Fucking excuse me?
Protect her from doing bad things as you are doing bad things to her.
And also because he, I might vomit, had a sexual attraction to his mother Maria, but never acted on it. Elizabeth looked like his mother.
So the long story, the TLDR.
Who wanted to fuck his mom?
I was gonna say,
Who treated him like shit.
so the TLDR, he had such an Oedipus complex that Freud would had a field day with him.
He never acted on fucking his mother. But because Elizabeth looked so much like his mother, that's why he did this. Rotten hell, motherfucker.
I'm just glad he didn't go after the not grandbabies.
She protected them.
Okay.
Anytime he would come down, she would put them in their room.
Yeah.
She would try to shield them from seeing anything.
Oh no, I meant he didn't like.
If I can get Jeff to get that, I want you to watch it. Because there's interviews with the friend, the neighbors, the sister-in-law, one of the guys that rented the place.
Oh, I mean, I'm just glad he didn't like
No, she protected
go after
Yes.
them.
Yes, she protected her children. But she had, I think, 3 girls and 4 boys. And I think the girls went up. Except for Kirsten. Kirsten was the only girl, and that's the one that went to the hospital.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So it was 2 girls and a boy that went up.
I think so.
Okay.
And girls are just noisy anyway.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they went up. But anyway, Elizabeth and her 3 children have been in hiding ever since, and I don't blame her. They don't want to be found, and I don't fucking blame them. As for her children that were taken away and raised by her mother, I didn't find anything, and I really don't want to find anything.
Yeah, like, I'm sure
the story is fucked up enough. They've been through enough, and I'm sure when they found out everything that, their grandfather is really their father, there's not enough mental health providers in this world to take care of all of those people.
if they didn't take care of themselves, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, the relationship between Elizabeth and her mother is very strained for obvious reasons.
No shit.
Do I think her mom knew something?
I'm sure.
How can you not?
I was gonna say the mother must have known something was going on at least in the basement.
Yeah, anytime something is wrong with you or your brother, even when you're not around me, I could sense it. You have that instinct. Not only that, I get being in fear. I get being compliant. I get it. Ain't nobody harming my babies. I don't fucking care who you are, like I said previously. So, I did, when I was doing my research a little while ago, see that apparently, and I didn't want to look because I don't fucking care what he has to say, but apparently they had a interview with him recently, and he fully expects to get out of jail in 14 years and be reunited with his family, because he always wanted to have children with Elizabeth. He always wanted to have 2 families. He's happy, and he can't wait to be reunited with all of his family.
That's sick. Fuck.
So, with that, I am so sorry, but that is the story, as fucked up as it is, of Josef Fritzl, and may he rot in fucking hell. And I don't care how old he is, somebody needs to take his ass the fuck out, because he is the biggest petachomo ever.
He is currently 88.
Mm-hmm. Fall and break a hip and die, motherfucker.
Yeah, really.
Fall and break a hip and die. That's all I got to say. And yes, I'm going to drink several more alcoholic beverages after this because now I have to scrub this from my fucking brain.
Yeah.
Because this is... Being a mother, this is... I'm going to go off a limb and say the worst that I've done so far.
Yeah, this is definitely up there with some of the worst shit.
I've done some nasty shit. This is the worst one I've done so far. Simply because of the sheer magnitude,
like the amount
of depravity.
I was gonna say the amount of effort he went into to make sure this worked.
He had been building that for years, and you even want to know what's even worse? He was getting grants from his township to build this bomb shelter for the safety of his family. So he didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
The town did. And all of this time, it was never a bomb shelter for his family.
Yeah.
It was to keep his daughter in prison so he could rape her.
Yeah. So
to protect her from herself.
So this is, like, shockingly, he has his, well, not shockingly, he has his own Wikipedia page, but shockingly, it is not as in-depth as you would expect it to be. Josef Fritzl, Austrian kidnapper and rapist.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, like, the first chunk of it is just, like, you know, what he did. The second chunk of it, Fritzl was tried and convicted on several charges, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment in a facility for the mentally ill in 2009. Fritzl could become eligible for release after 15 years, but he is expected to be in prison until he dies.
You fucking better be.
A forensic psychiatrist diagnosed him with a personality disorder and a sexual disorder. It's a little broad.
There's a lot of people walking around on these streets with those two disorders that don't fucking, chloroform their children and lock them in a goddamn concrete dungeon underneath their house and rape them over 3,000 times.
Yeah, it's goddamn
impregnate them
ridiculous.
7, incinerate the body of one of the children because he wouldn't take the baby to the hospital.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the worst things we've talked about on this show.
Depravity at its worst. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm gonna need to get drunk after this.
Yeah, that was excuse me, something that I was not expecting to hear about.
I did warn you.
You did warn me.
Did it live up to the warning?
I would say yes.
Now, as a man who has not had children yet, does that not make you want to rip out his throat?
Oh, God. Even if I did have kids, I would still... either way, if I had the chance, I would be like, yo, just give me, 5 minutes. I wouldn't even need the 5 minutes.
It's fucking terrible. And like I said, he's not the only man that has done this. There are men that have done it before, maybe not to this extent.
And there are going to be men that will do it later.
There's men that are doing it now, and there's men that are going to do it in the future. I mean, it's disgusting that this happens. It's disgusting that rape happens in general, but to do it to your own child is, to me, 100 times worse.
The fucking...
Any child, but your own?
Motherfucker ruining the visage of fucking Vincent Price with his shit.
Anyway, guys, sorry.
Sorry for the content of the episode, but thank you for listening if you were able to get through it.
That was a bad one. And I do this, I put myself through this so that I can make you guys aware that this shit does happen. It did happen. It's happening now. It will happen in the future, like I said. And if you guys know, if you know something, say something, please, guys. Because there are people that are going through shit that you don't know about. And be there. Be their voice. Anyway.
And if you're ever in Austria and are able to go visit him for whatever fucking reason, kick the shit out of him.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
It's always been depressing to me seeing an old person in pain or...
Not this one.
Oh no, I would fucking have a fucking party.
Not this guy. Not this fucking guy. He doesn't deserve to be on this earth.
No, he has wasted so much oxygen just being alive.
The sheer mental anguish and torment to her
and her kids
for 24 fucking years.
Yeah,
and those children.
It is goddamn ridiculous.
The pain is unmeasurable, and I'm glad she's in hiding, and I hope she's
doing better.
Doing better and getting the help that she needs, and the help that the kids are getting the help that they need. And Rosemarie, if you fucking knew and you didn't say nothing, fuck you too, bitch.
All right, guys.
Anyway,
we'll talk at you later.
I gotta decompress.
If you have a suggestion or would like to reach out to us, or you just want to hear more horror cultural, be sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or send us an email at horrorcultural@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at horrorcultural, Instagram at horrorcultural, and Twitter at horrorcultural. Should be obvious at this point. But yes, please follow us everywhere you can, and don't forget to check out our website when it inevitably is finished.